Something about English language. The reason English language is so widely spoken and popular is because that's the collective consciousness where the world is heading to. Many people are using this language as their medium of communication and more so. And one of the reasons this world is in a state like this is because of this language. If you look at this language, or hear this language, it's monosyllable. That means you can actually make so many interpretations of the word you speak. So when you hear the word can have two meanings, and this is the state of the world today. It's all contradiction. We all living the highest form of contradiction. Along with contradiction, there's also a big confliction. So there is contradiction and there is conflict. Whatever the word is, I'm not an English guy, but I hope you understand the meaning behind the words, which is more important because if you just hear the word, you will be divided. And this is the state of the world. It's in pain. Um, Once you go into deep silent meditation and then you come out, then you can see everything clear, crystal. Why this world is like this right now. On one side, there is extreme heaven and hedonism, and the other side, there's extreme pain and confusion and conflicts and wars, and it's just gone to the next paradigm and next level. Uh, what this earth doesn't need now. And when you think beyond yourself, when you think beyond your community, you think beyond this earth, and you think in totality, the universe, nothing really makes sense. But this is the conflict we are living in. What, what's the answer? The first thing, if you want to change the world, is you have to change the medium of the very language you're speaking in. Although you're hearing me speak in English, the way I speak is directly from the collective consciousness of the people who speak this language, and hence you can feel the meaning behind the words what I'm communicating. I hope you understand these words way deeper because it's painful. It's really painful when you see that this world has been created out of this language, English language, and it's more so because it's so conflicted. So conflicted. The language itself is so contradictory. For example, independence. Freedom, right? Freedom, independence. But no, it is independence. In fucking dependence, you know? So, isn't it a contradictory word? Okay, how about nowhere? I'm nowhere, yeah, but you can also see it's now here. And there's so many words in English language, I can go on and on and on, but I leave that as an exercise to all of you to see how conflicting and how contradictory the language is. And this is what is being created in the world right now. It's all in the language. And whoever put the seeds of this language, he's playing the game of the master programmer. We are just programs. At the end of the day, we are just programs. And we are just playing our games, you know, which has already been programmed. So when you reach the consciousness of the master programmer who has created this language, you can actually see that everything is happening in accordance. And we are stupid human beings who thinks that we can change the world. No, we can't. I don't think so. I know so. So you have to go in alignment with the flow of the river, because if you swim against the tide, you'll move nowhere, or now you'll always stay now here, right? So it's not an easy way to live your life this way, because accepting contradiction is the key to be. Like there is the sun, light, and then there's the moon, there's darkness. Like there is left and right, right or wrong. There's no other way other than acceptance, surrender, and being aware of nature's contradiction within itself. But there's only one way to live: acceptance, awareness, and surrender. And I have accepted the fact that the world will be destroyed, and it's human greed and consciousness which will lead to the human race and extinction. But first and foremost, you cannot change a system unless you create your own. I'm not saying the world can't be saved, but the way it's moving, it's a total catastrophe, it's complete destruction. And Nostradamus, the man who saw tomorrow, had transcended time, space, and causation to write a book called The Man Who Saw Tomorrow. And if you read through the lines of this book, or just watch the movie, you will see that everything what he predicted is it's just there. That man was living in the plane of the highest consciousness, how he transcended time, and he went into the future, and he just downloaded it, and people who are in that consciousness can actually see that it is what it is. You cannot change it. And English language is one of them. The more people speak English language, the more people speak, read, write this language, the world will go to a catastrophic pathway. Let's pray and transcend time, space, and causation, and then you can know that all this, what is happening in the material world, is just been written, and we should accept our fate. You can go and fight against it, but once you're sitting on the top of the hill and having that expansive view, you can just see what's happening on earth. One way, or the quick way of looking at the future, which has often been the trick of the masters, or the trick of people who want to transcend time, is to do the grandma medicine ayahuasca. It's infinite times powerful than LSD, which is the choice of the Western world. But if you do ayahuasca, you will know exactly what it is. Like, I was sitting in this same place roughly 5 years back, a little bit more than that, 62 months, and did my last Aya trip. It's in Sion Terrace. And for a simple example, I mean, I see this vision of this place coming up. It was nothing then, and now look, this is what it is. I hope you can see. This is Impiana Resorts. If you scoop in, and you can see that's Impiana Resorts. It's been built. So it's one simple example that time, you can transcend time. You got to take balls for it. You got to have an expansive consciousness, and there are a lot of tricks. You can get yourself a lot of material abundance. That's what people do with ayahuasca, because they get a head start with the visions they have. It's lucid with that. I mean, it's not that you have to do it, but people who embrace it, they get the visions from the plane we don't have access to. And the closest thing to Mother Medicine is, of course, meditation. It's the real thing. But if you cannot do meditation in this medicated world, medicine is the answer. To stay and have complete clear consciousness with the vibrations we have today in this planet is not feasible. People might be afraid to expand their consciousness through medicine, or I would say even better, meditation. But meditation is not everybody's cup of tea. Whereas medication, you just like do under the guidance of people or shamans, I would say. You can get a lot of insights. You can go on and on, but the whole idea, again, to communicate to my extended souls and beings and friends and sisters and brothers, is that we have all been simulated. We are all in the game. We have all been programmed. So there's no point fighting the bugs, right? I mean, it's all been written. And when you do this psychedelic experiences and remove yourself away from the mind, you can see it exists, man. These are all realms, it all exists. Thank you. Om Shanti Shanti. Om. Boom. The vision of Impiana.